It's been said that a goal without a plan is merely a wish. But when you combine a powerful goal with a plan that excites you, that keeps you on point, and that inspires you, magic can happen. Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. Last week, I began my first of a three-part series called The 3C's of Creating Breakthroughs. These are three aspects that I use in my coaching practice and in my speaking, particularly in my board breaking experience workshops, that help people understand what they can do to move from point A to point B in achieving breakthrough in their lives. And last week, what we did is we explored the first C, which was clarifying your vision. You know, in order to be able to have breakthroughs, I truly believe that we have to have a powerful vision that fuels and inspires us. And we talked basically about three aspects within that vision. And the first one is that you had to get clear about what you really wanted. You weren't doing it just because you thought it was the thing to do, but it was something that was deep inside your heart that inspired you. Number two, we talked about the importance of having a big why. So it's not just about the steps that you take, but to have a why behind it, which actually fuels you. And then finally, we talked about the important aspect of who you needed to be in order to make that happen. And sometimes it requires us to show up much differently than we ever had before in order to have the breakthroughs we desire. Well, today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the second C, which is creating your plan. And as I said at the beginning, a goal without a plan is merely a wish. But what I found in my experience is when you're inspired to do something and you have a plan that can take you step by step through it and also help you through the obstacles of that plan, the chances of success grow exponentially. So what are some of the aspects that we're going to talk about in terms of creating your plan? Well, the first one is something I call begin with the end in mind, but then break it down. Begin with the end in mind, then break it down. Now, what do I mean by this? Many times when we have a big vision that we want to have in our lives, it can seem incredibly daunting. There's so many steps that we need to go through in order to make it happen. We don't even know where to start. But when we can break it down into small, digestible chunks and just start taking the next right move, then the next right move, and then the next right move, what we begin to do is we begin to build momentum. And when we break it down into smaller chunks inside of ourselves, we gain confidence because we're having these little victories along the way. And we say, well, if I can do that, then I can do this, then I can do this. And we begin to build momentum. So the first thing is to begin with the end in mind, but then break it down into small digestible chunks. The next, in terms of creating that plan, is to find someone who can hold you capable. Now, what do I mean by this? Very often in the coaching world, you'll hear about people that you want to find that can hold you accountable. And there's nothing wrong with being held accountable. In fact, in my own coaching career and my own athletic and business career, having someone that could hold me to a specific standard was hugely motivating for me. But I love the little twist on this is rather than holding someone accountable, you hold them capable. Thanks to my good friend Kellyanne Zelinsky for turning me out of this concept. You see, what holding someone capable is seeing greatness in them, seeing their true potential, seeing the abilities that they have to express, and then holding them to that standard with their permission. So if you were to come to me as a coaching client and said, Chris, this is what I want to achieve, I would help you crystallize that vision inside yourself and then also hold you to that standard. Not just because of things you need to do, but who do you need to be? What is the way that you can hold yourself capable of achieving that and live into that? That's what it means to hold someone capable. Then, number three in creating your plan is to make sure that you plan for your obstacles. Now you're saying, Chris, we got to focus on the positive aspect of things. Why do we want to focus on the obstacles? For this very reason. Very rarely do we ever move from point A to point B without any distractions or obstacles along the way. In fact, I would argue that the bigger the breakthrough that we want to experience in our life, the bigger the obstacles that we're going to have. And what happens many times is we'll be going along, we've got our our sights focused on where we want to do, where we want to be. We're taking consistent action to make that happen. And then all of a sudden, life happens. And an obstacle presents itself to us. And we get off track. And pretty soon, it doesn't take much, but pretty soon we're totally off our pace of where we needed to be to achieve our breakthrough. But in planning for the obstacles, if we know that there are specific things that may occur, now when they happen, you already have a plan to deal with those. So when that illness maybe happens, or that little crisis at work, or needing to deal with something with one of your kids and maybe get you off track, if you have already said this might happen, this is how I'm going to handle this, now when it does, you get right back on track and continue to move in momentum toward your breakthrough. So plan for those. Don't let those obstacles surprise you. When they do, it should be, yeah, I was expecting that might happen. Here's how I'm going to deal with it. And then finally, and probably the one that's most difficult for me to do, is plan your celebration when you have that breakthrough. Now, what do I mean by that? You know, I don't know how many times I've done this in my own life where I'm passionate about a goal. I take the steps to make it happen, and then I achieve, and I'm like, okay, got that one done. Check, off to the next one. And I don't take the time to celebrate the victory. But you see, from a psychological standpoint, we love having those positive experiences of praise and celebration. So have in your mind what you're going to do when you achieve that breakthrough, or even small aspects of the breakthrough. Are you going to treat yourself to an ice cream? Are you going to go to a movie? Do you have a vacation planned that you can celebrate when you have this breakthrough at the end of, several months of working towards something? You see, when we do that, we keep our basic self in alignment. And now what happens is we're excited about the challenges because we know there's a reward at the other side. So there you have it, my friends. There's 4 key aspects of when you are creating your plan to break through that can help not only keep you on point, but also inspire you when things get a little bit tough. So next week, what we'll do is I'll be talking about our 3rd C of creating breakthroughs. So make sure you're here to take part in that. And if you have any questions or have any comments, please make them below. And also, if you click on the link there, go to my website, you'll see an upcoming program that I have, which is called my Breaking Through Coaching Program. And we're going to take these C's and we're going to go much, much deeper so you can experience. So if you want to have a discussion about that, please reach out to me directly. I'd love to have a chat. So this has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching, and we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.